you never expected, not from the one you chose, the one you trusted, the one who once looked at you like you were their entire world. That's the problem with betrayal. It never comes from enemies. It comes from the ones you gave your heart to. And when it's a wife who's hiding infidelity, it rarely looks like a movie scene. No lipstick on collars or secret hotel bills. It's quieter, colder, hidden behind smiles, responsibilities, and routines. And yet the truth whispers, it always does. The real question is, are you brave enough to listen? Today, we're going deep. We're not just talking about cheating. We're talking about the psychological tricks some wives use to hide it. Because knowing the truth doesn't start with confrontation, it starts with awareness. Trick A1D, the sudden emotional shutdown. One of the most subtle tricks is emotional detachment. Not dramatic loud, just distant. She's there, but she's not there. Conversations become short, eye contact fades. The warmth that once existed is replaced by robotic routine. You tell yourself, she's just tired, stressed. But deep down, something feels off. And here's where the psychological game begins. She might even blame you for the distance. You're too busy. You don't talk anymore. It's a defense mechanism, a way to make you question yourself so she doesn't have to explain her own withdrawal. This isn't just about neglect, it's about guilt management. If she can make herself feel like you are the problem, she can justify her actions. It's twisted, but it's real. Emotional distancing is the beginning of her disappearing act, mentally, physically, and spiritually. But here's what I want you to remember: silence can be a message. Distance can be a clue. Don't ignore the space growing between you. Ask questions, not to accuse, but to observe. Because when something feels missing, it probably is. Trick H2. Overcompensating with affection. On the flip side, some women swing in the opposite direction. Instead of pulling away, they suddenly become more affectionate, extra caring, unexpectedly sweet, attentive in ways they weren't before. You might think, wow, things are getting better. But beware, overcompensation is one of the most deceptive psychological tactics. Why? Because it's driven by guilt. She's trying to balance her internal scales. If she gives more to you, maybe it'll cancel out what she's giving to someone else. This trick is powerful because it plays with your hope. It makes you second guess your instincts. Why would she cheat if she's being so loving? But guilt-driven affection is inconsistent. It has a pattern of sudden bursts followed by emotional withdrawal, passionate one day, cold the next. Here's the hard truth. Real love doesn't need balancing. It flows. It doesn't confuse you. If affection feels like a performance, too rehearsed, too forced, start paying attention. Real connection doesn't come with guilt. Trick 30, weaponizing insecurity. Now this one is particularly damaging because it turns your own trust in yourself against you. If she senses that you're becoming suspicious, instead of addressing your concerns, she may deflect with emotional manipulation. She might accuse you of being insecure, controlling, or paranoid. She might even call you toxic. Suddenly, you feel like the villain. You start doubting yourself. Maybe you're being too sensitive. Maybe you are overthinking. This is psychological warfare. If she can keep you on the defensive, she never has to be on the defensive herself. And this tactic works so well because no one wants to feel like they're invading someone else's space. No one wants to be the jealous, needy partner. But here, this loud and clear asking questions doesn't make you toxic. Wanting clarity doesn't make you insecure. Wanting honesty isn't paranoia, it's self-respect. If someone twists your desire for truth into an attack, that's not love, that's avoidance. And avoidance is often the twin sister of deception. Trick H4, gaslighting. The timeline in this trick is sneaky because it's based on rewriting history. Let's say she disappears for a few hours. You ask where she was. She says, I told you already, but you don't remember. Still, she insists. You never listen. Or maybe you bring up a conversation you had and she acts like it never happened. This is gaslighting. Slowly, piece by piece, she makes you question your memory, your sense of reality, your sanity. Why? Because if you can't trust your own mind, you'll rely on hers. And that makes it easier for her to hide. This is one of the most dangerous psychological tricks because it chips away at your confidence. You start feeling like you're the unreliable one, like you're losing grip. But you're not. What you're feeling is cognitive dissonance. Your intuition and your logic are at war. And when that happens, always listen to the voice within. It may not have all the evidence, but it knows. You don't have to have perfect memory to know when something doesn't add up. You just need courage to say, that doesn't feel right. Speak it. Don't let your reality be rewritten. Trick A5, Jew. Creating chaos to distract. This one is pure redirection. If the pressure of hiding the truth becomes too much, some wives will create drama out of thin air. Petty fights, emotional explosions, misunderstandings that turn into full-blown arguments. Why? Because as long as you're fighting about something else, you're not asking the real questions. It's a clever tactic. While you're defending yourself, calming her down, or walking on eggshells, she's buying time. She's shifting the focus, creating noise so you can't hear the truth. It's like a magician waving one hand wildly while the other hides the trick. But you have to rise above the chaos. You have to recognize when the energy is being manipulated, when the storm isn't about what claims to be. Here's the insight: when someone constantly creates conflict without resolution, it's not passion, it's distraction. And it's time to step back and ask, what's really going on beneath the surface? Now listen closely. This speech isn't about hating. It's not about creating suspicion in your heart for every woman. Most wives are loyal, loving, devoted. But this is about the exceptions. The ones who know exactly what they're doing and are hoping you never wake up. And the truth is, these tricks work because they play on the most vulnerable parts of you: your love, your loyalty, your desire to believe in your marriage. But self respect doesn't mean becoming cold or suspicious. It means being aware. It means observing without emotion clouding your judgment. It means understanding that love should not confuse, belittle, or gaslight you. Love doesn't hide in manipulation. It stands in truth. If you're noticing the signs, listen. Don't explain them away. Don't bury your intuition under guilt or fear. Truth hurts, but lies destroy. You deserve transparency. You deserve presence. You deserve a relationship that honors your heart, not one that plays games with your mind. And if you do uncover the truth, breathe. You are not broken. You are not unlovable. You are not weak. You are awakening. You are learning. And this moment, this painful, gut wrenching realization, might be the moment that changes your life forever. Because on the other side of truth is power: the power to walk away from betrayal, the power to reclaim your self worth, the power to rebuild not just your life, but your identity. Let the pain sharpen you. Let the lessons mold you, and let your next chapter be written not from brokenness, but from clarity. You didn't come this far to be lied to, manipulated, or disrespected. You came this far to rise. So rise, not with vengeance, not with bitterness, but with truth in your heart and peace in your soul. Because no one can take from you what you're willing to face. And the greatest power is in seeing clearly, then choosing you. Sometimes betrayal doesn't begin with obvious lies. It doesn't start with a caught text message or a late night phone call. No, it begins much earlier and far more quietly. It starts with a shift, a subtle change in tone, a distance you can't quite define. It's in the way she no longer looks at you when you speak. It's in the way her laughter sounds slightly forced, her hug slightly hollow. It's not always in what she says. It's in what she avoids saying. It's the delayed replies, the sudden interest in privacy, the convenient, you're overthinking, remarks that make you question your own sanity. This is where the betrayal starts. Not with fireworks, but with fading sparks. Because the most dangerous betrayals are the ones that dress themselves up in routine, in smiles, in normalcy. And that's the genius of it. It's not obvious. It's clever redirection, deep psychological games. She doesn't lie outright, she just shifts your attention, makes you focus on the things that seem real while hiding the ones that matter. You'll catch yourself saying, she's just stressed. She's been busy. It's probably nothing. But your intuition will be screaming underneath, begging you to notice what your mind is trying to rationalize. That's how betrayal truly begins us. When someone starts erasing themselves from the relationship while making you feel like you're imagining it. And if you're not grounded in your own awareness, you'll miss it. You'll brush off the warning signs. You'll mistake manipulation for misunderstanding. And you'll begin to lose the most important thing in the process. Not just your trust in her, but your trust in yourself. That's why we talk about these things. Not to create paranoia, but to bring clarity. Because when someone starts using psychology to hide their truth, the only way to protect yourself is to see beyond the surface, to notice the patterns, to listen to the silence between the words, and most importantly, to honor your intuition over their performance. Because sometimes betrayal wears a mask, and the first step to healing is learning how to recognize the disguise. These psychological tricks wives sometimes use to hide cheating, they're not about brilliance or some kind of intellectual superiority. No, they're not chess moves made by masterminds. They're survival tactics, emotional manipulation disguised as self-protection. These behaviors are rooted not in genius, but in fear: fear of consequences, fear of accountability, fear of losing control. You see, when someone chooses deception, they don't always do it with malice. Sometimes they do it out of desperation, out of a need to escape the truth without facing the mirror. So, they start bending reality, reshaping conversations, twisting timelines, not because they're clever, but because they're scared. And instead of owning their truth, they build illusions. But here's the danger: these illusions feel real. That's the weapon. That's the trick. She may still cook dinner, kiss you goodnight, sit beside you on the couch. She may maintain every routine, every smile, every habit that keeps you thinking everything's fine. But it's not fine. It's fabricated. And the only way to see clearly through this fog isn't through logic. It's through intuition. Because the heart knows what the eyes can't see. You'll feel it before you understand it. That subtle tension in the air. That emotional gap you can't bridge. That discomfort that shows up when everything looks right but feels wrong. That's not paranoia. That's your internal compass trying to protect you. The tragedy is, many people ignore that voice. They silence it with excuses, with logic guilt. They say, I'm just being insecure. I'm probably imagining things. And that's exactly what manipulation counts on. That you'll believe the surface more than your soul. But not anymore. If something feels off, pause. Listen. Sit with it. You don't need 100 pieces of proof to know your spirit is unsettled. You don't need visible cracks to acknowledge something's broken. To see clearly, you must look beyond appearance. You must trust your inner voice even when everyone, including the one you love, is telling you you're wrong. Because that voice, that intuition, that's your truth. And no amount of manipulation can silence a person who chooses to trust themselves over the illusion. Recognizing the signs is not about control. It's not about becoming suspicious or paranoid. It's not about tracking someone's every move, reading into every word, or living in fear of betrayal. It's about something much deeper. It's about you. It's about reclaiming your peace. The peace that gets chipped away when your intuition keeps whispering. Something's wrong, but your mind keeps silencing it with doubt. It's about ending the war between what you feel and what you're afraid to face. Because deep down, you already know when the energy has shifted. You already sense when love has left the room, even if the body is still present. This isn't about controlling another person's behavior. It's about not letting their behavior control your well being. Because every time you ignore the signs, you abandon a piece of yourself. Every time you dismiss your gut feeling to avoid conflict, you let go of your inner truth. And over time, that self abandonment turns into anxiety, confusion, sleepless nights, and emotional exhaustion. You begin to shrink yourself to fit into someone else's lie. But not anymore. You see, standing in the truth is not always comfortable. In fact, it rarely is. The truth is raw, it's inconvenient. It might shake the foundation of everything you believed. But it's real. And in a world full of illusion, real is freedom. To choose truth is to choose yourself. It's saying, I'd rather be hurt by reality than comforted by deception. I'd rather know what's really going on than live in a beautiful lie. Because only when you acknowledge what is, can you decide what will be. Only then can you set boundaries. Only then can you protect your peace. Only then can you walk forward, not with blind hope, but with clarity and power. So no, recognizing the signs doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise. It means you're finally choosing to trust your gut over gaslighting. It means you're done making excuses for someone else's emotional absence. It means you're done betraying yourself just to maintain an image of love that no longer exists. You're not here to be anyone's fool. You're not here to be lied to, manipulated, or silenced. You're here to rise in truth, even when it hurts. You're here to protect your peace, even when it means letting go. You're here to trust you, above everything else. Because once you start honoring your own voice, the games stop working, the lies stop convincing, and the masks start falling. That's not control, that's power.